Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Why am I? There it is. Now, you blinded. Okay, that's got to go. And so I get to paint in the dark again. I got to do something about that. I don't really know what to do. Maybe more overhead light? Is that what I need? I don't know, you guys, but we're in a motorhome. I don't have all the luxuries that I would have if I were in a house. So, and I've got an extreme shadow right here, but without the light different than it is now, I don't know what I can do about it. So we'll just move on and paint in the dark, and it'll all be fine. We may have to change the time of day that we're actually broadcasting. So I don't know, but for right now, this is going to work. Okay, so this is the painting that we're actually going to do. However, we don't have to have these different purples in these flowers. We can do something else, and we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about the color wheel and how we can add maybe some harmony or some contrast to this particular situation. I do want to point out to you something that I have just, it's not a rule, it's just a suggestion for how things might work. Okay. When you are trying to figure out what color you want, okay, I want a pansy, and I know I want that pansy to have yellow and purple in it. Now, on the original, you can see this is extreme purple. All right, extreme purple or a lighter purple. And you decide which one you want it to be. To get this purple, you just keep putting your layers on. They're transparent. So when you add something transparent over the top, let me see if I can give you a little bit of a peek at that. Hold on just a second. Okay, maybe this will do it. This is very old paper, but new paper, old paper, it all works. Okay, if I've got my color, whatever it is, and I lay something transparent over the top of it, you can see through what's underneath there, right? It's not the same, but you can see it. Well, if this paper, which I do not have the ability to show you, if this paper were also purple, this area would become more purple. There is a thing like that, more purple, and this one would turn brown because purple and yellow make brown. Okay, and can we know that without making those mistakes? Yes, we can. And we do that by using a handy dandy color wheel. This one is the same one that's been on the market forever and ever. This one says copyright 2010, but I have my big one over here. Let's see. Oh, sorry. What does it say? 1989. And seriously, it's the same thing. The same setup, the same everything. They just keep it copyrighted because these continue to sell. Why? Because you need one. All right, these I think are $5. Well, they used to be $5. They may be $7. I don't know now how that actually flies, but it has two sides. One that says, okay, if you had, let's say, purple, this is our violet right here. If we add black to it, we're going to get this color down here. Here's lavender. If we add blue to it, we're going to get a blue violet. If we add yellow, we're going to get this. Ooh, what is that color? I could tell you what it reminds me of. Hello, Sharon. Yes, you can. Yes, it comes from Hobby Lobby. Um, this sort of reminds me of, you know, a little baby thing going on there, but whatever. If you add purple to purple, nope. If you add yellow, if you add red to this violet, you're going to get a red violet. Okay, those things are important to know. But what we're going to be working with this evening is on the other side of this. And when we turn it, we want our key color, our pure color, which is violet, aka purple, to be at the top. And when we look at this, we come down. Yellow is the complementary color. Now, what that does is a variety of things, okay? Placed next to one another, they will brighten one another. This looks more vibrantly purple next to a yellow than it would, say, next to a blue or a green. See, it's purple, but when I put it next to a green, it doesn't wah quite as much as yellow and purple. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, they hype one another up. All right, but they also are a good color scheme if you control your values, how light and dark each of these things get. Now, when you have your purple and you have your yellow, then you want to do blossoms to fill in for a design rather than just, oh, I painted a pansy. There's a pansy. What color could we use that would go with this? And I'm going to tell you, I do believe that God, who created these flowers, was exceptional in his color choices, because not only did he choose very well color scheme wise for this flower, but he also puts it wherever he wants it. And so in the garden, a pansy can sit next to a violet. It can sit next to a petunia. It can sit next to it can sit next to a lot of things. It can sit next to anything, and the colors work out very well. So how do we then choose what it is we're going to use? So if we go down here to the bottom, there's the yellow. We could even pick up yellow orange, yellow, and yellow green. That, because we've got the complements, we could have split complements also going on in there. Or we could have purple, green, and orange, but I've already got this. Do I want to change that? No, I don't want to. This is the color that the pansies that my mom loved were. And it's Mother's Day time. Those of you who haven't thought about it need to think about it. They always ask for Mother's Day to put out in the yard. She wanted them right by the door. And they were her favorite. And so, thinking about Mom, I want that color. So I want that purple and yellow. Anytime you have a live plant, you could also add green to your color scheme. It is allowed, even in a complementary color scheme, you can add green because it needs that to feed the plant. Okay, so now you can be selective about which greens you use, and you probably should. I used typically more yellow greens in mine because this color I start with is sap green generally, and that is a very definite yellow green. But I can also add an altered green to it and turn that same sap green into a yellow green. I mean blue green. Sap green already is a yellow green. I can turn it into a blue green. And this sap green has indigo in it. And I'm trying to think, did it have something else in it? Maybe just a little touch of red to calm it down, because it was incredibly blue-green. So I didn't really want that. Okay, now doing this makes me think too. I wanted to tell you something. We're going to be using it tonight, and I want you to consider doing it. When you mix up a color and you have created that color, you like that color, and you may want to use that color again, you don't know, it is wise to create a swatch page. Okay, this one says color match matte. I created that color to color match this matte. This mat was purchased off of Amazon in a package of, I don't know, 25. I don't know. I don't remember. But I wanted my peony to match my mat, so I mixed it to match it. I heard today on a video somewhere in the dark recesses of my mind that you can find a color that will deepen alizarin crimson, which if you look on your palette, generally speaking, alizarin crimson is about the darkest red that we have on our palettes. Now, so I'm not going to say that exclusively, because if you have all the colors in the world, you will have one that might be darker than this. You might even have this one. But I didn't have all those, so I mixed alizarin crimson plus ultramarine blue plus a touch of burnt umber. You want, when you're mixing colors, you start off with the base color, a little puddle of that, and then you go a tiny bit of this one, and then a tiny bit of this one, maybe a little more of this one, maybe a little more of this one. Oops, I got too much. More alizarin crimson, until you get the color that you want. Then you put it out on your swatch piece, and that way you've got the recipe for how you created that, so that later when you want it again, you don't, how did I do that? Like I did with that green. I didn't know I was going to want that green again. I may not ever want that green again, but I might. Okay, now see here, I'm going to put more of the color on it, and it gets darker, not because I darkened the color at all, but because I went over it more than once. Okay, so let's mark this and say this is sap green plus indigo plus, and I'm going to go an asterisk, that's a touch of red. And that's how I got that color. Okay, now if you chose a different green to start out with, you might not have to do that. Then I take my wonderful little magic tape here, and I keep magic tape at my desk all the time. Magic tape will allow you to tape down a watercolor painting, and it will come off of the watercolor painting. Now, other tapes, I'm not going to guarantee you that they will do that, but magic tape does. Now, am I going to guarantee that? No, because I don't offer guarantees. However, it's never torn my paper, ever. Packing tape will. Painter's tape even has, but magic tape did not. So go carefully, go cautiously, but there it is. See, but now I can flip this over and put more swatches on this, and then put it in a notebook, and I'll have it there whenever I want to use it. Okay, so what color are we going to use for these side blossoms? Look at your painting Okay, and I want to say, okay, now I'm going to say something profound. You don't have to write this down, just always remember it. Whatever you paint is your art. It's your art. And what you bring to it is yours. It's not, oh, mine didn't turn out as good as, the person next to you, the person across from you, the teachers, whatever. Well, okay, fine. You guys, I've been painting for almost 50 years. Yeah, I think so. Almost 50 years. And I would hope that I would be able to do something good. Now, that's not to say I don't make mistakes, because we all do. And sometimes I don't choose the right color. However, I like to experiment. I like to try things. Dare to be yourself, because you are the best version of you that you could possibly be. So do your artwork the way you want it. If you want it to be all purples, and I added reds to some of them and made more of a red violet, I added blue to some of them and made blue violet. Some of them I just left really light and made like a lavender color. This one I'm going to do differently. Why? Because I can. And so let's see what we might want to do. All right, we've got our lavender and our yellow. We could try the yellow, orange, yellow, green thing. We could do that. Or we could go, I already did the blue, violet, red, violet, violet. I already did that. What else could we do? When we look at our little cheat sheet thing here, that's what this in the middle is. There's such a glare, you can't even see it. There it is. This triangle right here is the split complementary. It goes here and here, and there's the complement going straight across. A triad color scheme is going to be green, purple, and orange. We could do that. We could do a tetrad. Let's move the tetrad. Let's move it to where one of those corners falls on our main color. So we could go purple, red, orange, yellow, orange, or blue, green. Nah, let's don't. We could go purple, let's see, purple, blue, green, yellow, red, orange. Could do that. I'm not in love with it. I just am not, which is one of the reasons why I kind of just did lavender to begin with, but all the purples. But we could do, okay, here's this. Just try it on for size. See what you think. If we did a pinkish, like a very light version of a red, alizarin crimson is a red violet. It is a blue version. Well, it depends on what you compare it to. If you compare alizarin crimson to red, it isn't red. If you compare it to red violet, it isn't red violet either. It's red. So how does that work out? How does that work? Okay, Sharon, I don't know what the no went with, because it doesn't show me this in real time. I'm sorry to tell you. It does not show me what that went with. So the blue green, yes, I'm not in favor. I'm not in favor of the blue green. Matter of fact, I'm not a fan of that in a nature, like a flower print like this. It just doesn't appeal to me that way. The blue greens are for shading or to darken, but even that I use it very carefully. It just doesn't make my brain sing. So if we were to do the purple, okay, we do have green in our in our painting. We don't yet, but it will be because we have green. Now, the green that I have here is not the green that we will have tonight because I mix it as I go and I can go whatever direction I want to go. So I know that I will have green. So it is possible that I could do a violet, yellow, red, green color scheme. That way it's a dual complementary, dual complements, could be okay. It could be, might not be, but I don't know. The idea of putting orange in here bothers me. Only because there are so many different oranges. Okay, now, if we went with a yellow orange, I do have an orange that I believe would be on the yellow side. Shall we live dangerously and try it? We could do this, yellow, green, yellow, orange, and hope for good things. Let's try it. I'm going to try it. If you don't like it, don't do it. Okay? How's that? All right? Because you can paint after me, not with me. And that way you go, oops, that wasn't a great choice, Marilyn. And that'll be just fine. And it's okay if you don't like the same thing I do, or if I don't like the same thing you do. It's all okay. Otherwise, everybody would want to be married to Don, and I probably wouldn't have had a chance. Just saying. And I've lost my, well, that's nice. I lost my paper towel. I like to have a paper towel with me when I paint just because it helps me. I wonder if I would put this light on. Would that? Yep. How about that? That doesn't mess it up too much, does it? It at least lets me see the colors I've got over here. Okay, let's try this. All right, if we're going to, let me first take this in place so that it stays in your line of vision. Man, we've got all kinds of shadows on this thing tonight. Well, I can't help it. Cannot help it at all. All right, I am going to first paint this one that's right next to the purple and the yellow both. That means it's got to be happy with both of these. And I'm going to get 2 petals wet, just like that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my yellow orange, which I believe is cadmium orange. But in comparison to some other things, it looks yellow orange to me. All right. So this is almost ready, not quite ready. And we could do the theme song from a certain TV show we know, but I'd get a copyright strike, so we're not going to. We're going to just come up in here and lay down a light version of this color. Now, there are some who would tell you you absolutely must leave white, but I don't want that to be white. I want it to be orange. I just want it to be very pale orange. So the places that I want my highlights to be will never get as much color from here on out as it did that time. It will always be a little on the understated side. And coloring in the lines was never my forte. Always an outside of the lines kind of person. But we'll move with it. All right. All right. Let's go back, pick up some more orange, yellow orange, whatever you want to call what this is. And we're going to come up in here first. It goes underneath the petal. So we're going to put that there. We're also going to put some right here down this because it goes underneath there and it goes underneath this other petal. We're going to take out the color and just move this color around there. I've only got a damp brush with no water and no color. And I'm just tapping to blend right there. So I get a nice easy transition, making sure with a dry brush there that there's nothing coming in to that light right there. Picking up a little bit more color. I'm going to come up here. Okay, now this is just to intensify this orange that I've got here because I don't want it so light that it disappears. There we go, right there. I'm happy. So I would still say that was level 2. All right. Even though I went over it twice, it took twice to get it to the level I want. That's my medium color. We have not placed any darks in here yet. Okay, I'm going to come over here, up and up. This petal is on top on both sides. So I'm going to bring this color down here, down there, out and out, staying out of the light. Right there's the light. Got only a damp brush, no color, no water, just right there. I can see it on the screen. I can see it. Excellent. All right, there are 2 more petals here and here. We can't paint right this minute because they will eke over into this. So let's go over here and paint this one over here. We're going to paint with water first. Water, water, water. And we're going to put water here. And when it's ready, which it is not yet, we will have our orange and our brush ready to go. And this is the first layer, so we don't want this to be the most intense thing we do. But right there in front, it has a foreshortened petal that comes across there. Foreshortened means that we're looking at only the edge of it, or we're looking at not the whole petal. Maybe it's just an edge, maybe it's a piece of the petal, but it's not the whole thing. Right there, just like that. On this side, we come into the middle here, right in here, go around that petal that comes across. We're coming to these outside edges, and if I could see this, it would be awesome, but I can't, so we're going to wing it. And no, I am not an angel, more like a bird brain, so we're going to go with that. And right there is the light there, coming around there, like so, just like that. Back up to our first flower, we're going to dampen this petal and this one under here. This one under here is under everywhere. It is just under everywhere. How did it get so lucky? I don't know. Which I guess technically it may not have to be underneath that one. But we're going to say it's going to be dark because it's under the flower. And I think that was supposed to chop off right there, but it doesn't want to, so we're going to tell it doesn't have to. Right in there, down, down. Now, is it hard to see this? Yes, it is, because we have no contrast at this point. None. We've got light and medium. That's all we have. We're going to come down here, and down this middle, right there. And you don't ever leave it like that, people. You blend, 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 blend. You don't want those lines like we did in kindergarten. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there it is. We don't want that. want this blended. Just like that. Reinforce that light, and there's one right there. Going to bring this middle out here, just a little streak down there and there, like that. Okay, it's not done, so don't judge it. And almost every painting, I'm not going to say every because we don't ever say every or never, right? So almost every painting has a stage that where you think, man, I think I just need to throw this in the trash. This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Don't. Give it a chance. Let it dry. Let it do its thing. And then once it's dry, come back in and do some accents or another layer or something. And you might find that it's one of the best things you've ever painted, not one of the worst. Okay. There. There. Okay, and I want no color, no water in my brush, just damp brush, and I'm blending right here along that edge, along the edge. I think there was supposed to be dark in there. I could sort of see right there a place. So it has a little bit light there and there. Yeah, let's try that again. Then we're going to go here, 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 and here. A damp brush because I don't want it striped. I want blended color. But I want to keep that light. Now it's more orange than the other petals, but that's okay. We just adjust. Just keep moving, folks. Just keep moving. Let's come back in here. Add some color here. Add some here. It goes around that foreshortened petal. Just go damp brush, blending here and blending here. And I want sort of like this little light tornado-like thing in the middle right here. It goes bigger here and then tiny tip down there. This side right there, around that foreshortened petal, just like that. A damp brush, we're going to blend and blend. I'm going to take some of my, no, I'm not, I can't yet. I'll just go back over here and play with this one a little bit more. Strengthen that darkness there. I'm going to have this one be underneath. There and there. See, now you can really start seeing this. I have had some students say, well, Marilyn, I liked what I had already. And if you think you want to stop, then stop. But I'm telling you, always make sure you get to the level where you have dark, medium, and light in your painting. All of those values are needed to create depth in a painting. Not necessarily in every single piece of the painting, but every single value must be represented. Okay, I'm going to bring color here and here, come around there. And here, that edge, I want to get light because it's going to go over the top of this other petal over here, and I don't want it to vanish. There we go. Just like that, right there. And I touched it, and I shouldn't have. There we are. There we go. Okay, now, what are we going to use for our dark if we've used yellow orange for our flower color? What can we use to darken it? Well, I have possibilities here. You can use a burnt sienna color, but that, if you're going to use burnt sienna, be careful because you don't want it to take over the flower. Okay, I've got burnt sienna here. Let's see what it does in here. Here and here. A little bit in here. In an area that was already damp. This dark color blends into the medium, but it never, I know we said never isn't a word, right? But it never goes where the light is. It just never goes where the dark and the light are opposite. They're not compatible. So if you're going to use this type of a color, you've got to control where it's going. It cannot go into the light. There. Gonna put that there, and I'm going to blot that right there. I think I want this one to come underneath this other one. I just think it needs to be. So I'm going to put that there, but I don't want this to be a burnt sienna brown flower. I want it to be a version of that orange. And one more little place I want to put it. And I'm just using a light version of this color, but I want it to be in, okay, it's in a similar place as where the medium went, but it's not everywhere that the medium is. It's everything you do, it stays within the confines of the step that was before it. Okay, so if you are working dark to medium, you stay within the medium area. If you're working light to medium, you stay within the medium area. Do you see what I'm saying here? You don't want to lose your light, so you don't work into the light. You're working on the color. Does that make sense? Oh, that's all right, Bev. Not a problem. Okay, so I'm thinking I like this. I'm going to want it to be a little bit darker, but I really, really, really don't want it to be brown. So I'm controlling this very heavily. Going to go right here, here, and here, around where the center of that flower would be. Taking the color out and just blending it in to that medium area that's there. There's a piece right here that I want it to go underneath right here. Don't know if I can make it do it. It just might not. I might have to let it dry first. There. And just right in there. Just blends. Yep, I think that works. Leave it alone. That's what we're going to do. Leave it alone. I'm going to turn this around and going to use this dark color again. I don't want very much of it. Whenever I put new color on my brush, I always go over to my palette mixing area and work it into the water that's in the brush, because I don't want to go straight to the painting with incredible intense color without knowing exactly how intense that is. It's the difference between the color being in charge and the artist being in charge. Right in here, there, blend just a little bit. All right, I'm going to pick up some more of that color, which is burnt sienna, by the way, just very light, and this is very watery. It's not intense at all at this point. I'm going to put some right there. Oh, yes. And right there. Just like that. I might want to bring this up a little bit right here. When I say a little, I mean a little, just a little, like so. That light is very large on that one petal. I don't know about altering that. I'm kind of half afraid, but we're going to try right there. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, that's what I want, I think. I might want one more time of burnt sienna. Okay, now I know that time when I picked up that color, I got intense color. And I don't want this to turn brown. I am very cautious about that, so I'm going to be very careful. Yep, right there it goes. Right there. Remembering that when you're working with watercolor, where you lift your brush, you're depositing color and water. Just keep that in mind. Okay, I've got no color, no water, just a damp brush. And I'm going to blend that out just a little. Just a little. Right there. And right there. Needs a little bit more right there. Right behind that little foreshortened petal right there. All right, now I'm actually going to paint that petal on there. It's going to be my yellow-orange color. I'm going to start at the base of that first, because if it's going to be dark, that's where I want it to be dark. It is not dark at all. So I'm going to come back again. Just like that, right there. Just a touch there. That's the tip of the flower. While I am here, I am going to put the yellow center in this. I've got to move my foot, sorry. And I'm going to use CAD Yellow Medium to do that. Or CAD Yellow Deep, I don't know, just one of your yellows. I'm going to do yellow first in both of these. I think that one needs some more dark on it, but we're going to put the center in anyway. And then I'm going to pick up some of that burnt sienna with the yellows still in my brush. So I have burnt sienna plus yellow. And I'm going to come right there. And I'm just going to dot, dot, dot right there. Remembering that every time you lift that brush, it's going to deposit color and water. Right here, dot, dot, dot. Right there. It just grounds that circle. Right there. Oh, yes. Drops right down in there, just like I wanted it to. Okay, so then you repeat this. And do you repeat it in the very same shades you've already used? No, no, no. if this one is light, the next one right next to it needs to be not quite as, okay, but like I said, this particular yellow orange that I've got really only has one speed, really. It's just what it is what it is. So we're going to need to alter it. How do we alter it? We altered it with that burnt sienna. So we're going to pick up burnt sienna, bring it down in here, just like that. We're going to wet this again here real quick. Those ones that go back in, I don't always wet that first because it's going to stay light in an area that I don't want it to be light. I want it to be dark. So I don't always put the water in there first. Just that's why you didn't see that happen. I'm going to come in here. There. Okay. And that's going to have to sit there for a little bit and do its thing. We're going to come over here, get this one wet, and touch right in there. See, it looks really orange until you mix it with that water, and then it just doesn't stay orange. It kind of dilutes itself right out. So we're going to bring it here and here, leave that light. This comes down the middle, goes off to the side and off to the side. And then we want just a damp brush and we blend between the two of those things like that. And we're going to pick up some of that burnt sienna and go over here and touch there, and touch here. And then it's already run out of color. We're going to just scoot it around there and there, but we want this part left right there with no color. More burnt sienna. And as I said before, it comes down the middle and I lift the brush and look how it dips right there. I like that, and I'm going to leave it right there. A little bit there, and a little bit here. You know the famous guy with all the hair, and he says happy little accidents, and that's what they are. Sometimes it's just a fortuitous incident that just, it just delights you. So keep it. Matter of fact, not only am I going to keep it, I'm going to reinforce it as soon as I find it again. Right there. Right there. Just a little bit right there. Right there. A little bit here, here, and here. Just a little, like that. Okay, now if this one is dark, wait a minute, we've got to do something with that back. That inside petal is not dark enough right there. Just like that. And there's one little thing I'm going to run back over because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Well, maybe it's doing it now. Nope, it's not. It's right here. It has a little light spot there that I don't want there. There we go. Okay, now I've got a damp brush and I'm just going to blend that up a little bit. Not too much because I don't want it to disappear. Just be right there. Okay, we're going to use our yellow orange again, and we're going to come in here first. And I did not wet this one first because it's got so much underneath that it's going to need to be dark, and it'll be too wet to be dark, and it won't want to play well with others. It just won't. So we're going to bring darkness here, around here, and down here. And I've just got a damp brush, blend there, there, and it stays nice and dark. Sort of. We'll have to darken it again. It's sort of dark. It's medium to dark. All right. Let's apply water to this area. Oh, I didn't get my brush cleaned out real well, but that's okay because I'm using the same colors. If you were changing colors, you'd want to make sure you got that all out of your brush. Got those two. Picking up the orange, going to put some in here, some in here. Leave that edge right in here. And there's one place right here that I don't know, it's sort of like a little light right there, but if you can get it to stay good, if you can't, don't worry about it. I don't think mine's going to stay. I'm not even sure if I really see it. It may not really be there. It may be all in my head. Nope, it's there. Okay, there. 2 lights in our little bit of a 3 lights actually, because there's one over there on the edge. Okay, I'm going to pick up a little bit more of this color. And I'm going to apply that right there. Right there. Just enough more water. It took it all somewhere. And we're going to come up here. There, there. This is dark right there. Well, it will be. It's not yet. It's medium. You want a little bit of light right there and a little bit of light on that edge. Going to bring this down here again. A damp brush, not carrying water, not carrying color, just damp brush. And I just ran that through my hand. I dropped my paper towel. I thought the paper towel was there and it wasn't. I know, I've lost my marbles, but that's okay. What would I do if I had all my marbles? I could fly. Okay, right there. I want to take away that water because I want to keep that light. One more here and right in here, here, there, there, there. Ooh, wow, that's nice and juicy, and that's going to sit there for just a minute. And while it's sitting there for just a minute, I'm going to pick up some of this burnt sienna, and I'm going to, is there a petal there or not? I think there is, right in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think so. I've got burnt sienna and my yellow orange together because this petal is going to be dark. It is dark. It's nowhere close to dark enough, yet, but it's supposed to be dark. Dark there, here, there, right there. Okay, we're gonna take that water away because I don't want it moving. It's gonna have to have some dark added to it here in a minute anyway, but it'll suffice for now. I'm gonna come in around this little area here and put my dark in here and here and here. And with a damp brush only, blend right in there. No, there was not a petal there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, there's something under there now. I don't care. I'm telling you, when you're painting in the dark, who knows what you've got. Okay, I've got some of the orange in here. We're going to bring this area back to orange, not brown. Don't want it brown. That one underneath there, well, it may end up being a horse of a different color. We don't know. Okay. And I want to let that sit right there. Just right there. Yep. Burnt sienna right in here. Not too much up the side because that dark petal is sitting right there. Just alter this as you need to. You may not need to alter it. You may have gotten yours just the way you needed it to be your first time through. I don't want those to blend together. There we go. All right, one more petal here. There, here, there. I'm going to pick up the orange. We're going to go here. Lifting, lift. It's going to come clear out to the end here, over here, and there, but not in that triangle right there. And just play with these values back and forth between the dark and the light, the dark and the light. This is like a playground where they play. And that dark is what's going to give you the dimension that you need and want. I know you think you don't want dark in there. That Marilyn, it's too dark. No, it's not. Dare to do it and then see if you like it. If you don't, you guys, seriously, it's a piece of paper. Granted, you've spent a lot of time on that piece of paper, but still. It's not like you were messing around with a gold bar or something, you know? I like it. I don't like this one. This needs more work. I don't think I ever went back and worked with it, did I? Right there. Right here. There. Blending that out a little bit. Over here. Yes. Yes. Blend. Blend. And blend. Burnt sienna. Right in here. Up in here. There. Okay, now, one thing I want to point out to you here. You remember that happy little place that was up there that we went back and reinforced reinforced. This one right here, there. Well, we're going to reinforce it again from the other side. We're going to bring this light over. We're going to scoot it over. Right there. Just right there. And we're going to bring this yellow orange. We're going to alter the shape of this right there. So then it plays with that little burnt sienna place to make this gorgeous little whatever that is. And no, we don't want that there. It was still too wet, but that's okay. It'll sit there now. It'll be good. Want a little bit more burnt sienna right here. It's going to have to dry a little bit before it actually really even shows up, but I think maybe it's got enough there that we can go ahead and finish these other two. I think it's fine. Water. And remember, you're in control of this water. The water is not in control. You are. Picking up our orange color, putting it in here, and right in here. And we don't have to make it be what we want it to be from the very beginning. It'll get there. Want that to blend right there and there. And I think they're going to just fine up at the top. We need to go back and reinforce this. There, like that. While I am painting the water on these two petals, I want to ask a question. Do you think you remember well enough how to do your leaves from the beginning session to do them on your own, or do we need to do them on here? Here, there, here, around here, not there. Okay, I thought so. Right in here, we want that to be a bit more. In there, here, just like that. And this is just the yellow orange. We're going to go back over to the other section here. And we're going to come down in here, go around here, there, and there. Leave that little bit of light there. See the light's right there. It should have a little bit of light there, but it's underneath. We're going to put it in the center part of it, though. We're just going to kind of lift a little bit of that color out of there so that it'll be light enough. It's not the lightest color that we have here anyway, so we're not really incredibly concerned about it. We want to help this along as much as we can. Okay, let's let that one sit for a little bit. And I'm going to put water here and water over here. I'm going to pick up some of my orange. It's dark here. This whole petal is got so much underneath that it doesn't have very much place for light. You want maybe a little bit of not highly concentrated orange right there, but I would really seriously not fuss with it too much. Right there. Blend, blend. And that one followed the water right into the light. So we want to come over here and make sure. No, it didn't. It's right there. I can see it. It did what it was supposed to do. I just am, my lighting's so horrible I can't even see it. Gonna bring a little bit of water there. Gonna pick up my yellow orange color. A little bit here. A little bit right there. Just not much. Not much. And it's going to go this way this time because underneath is where that darker color is going to go. And then I'm going to just have a damp brush and bring this color right there. I want it very light right there. Okay. Going to pick up some burnt sienna. And I know that I want it to be dark right here. So that's a good place to start with this new load of color. But I think it's got a lot of concentration to it. So I'm going to just use my damp brush to blend that out down in here, right there. Because I don't want that to be burnt sienna. I want it to be orange. And a little bit right here. And I don't have paint and I don't have water. It's just a damp brush. I'm going to come up here and I want that blended. I don't want two stripes sitting there. I just want it to be lightly colored. Take away that water. And this one can be darker. It's okay for it to be darker. Where it is, where it's sitting, all the things, it would be darker. Okay, take out the color. Damp brush, go down the side of that, bringing the light and the dark softened. Here, here, there. I've just got a damp brush. It's not even carrying water. It's just a damp brush. Bringing that color together just like that. Right in here, here, around there. I've got enough that I'm picking up from here to bring over to here. I don't even need to pick up anymore. And I've got just a damp brush. I don't want it to be flat. I just want it to be damp. And I'm going to blend right here and right there. Okay, picking up some of the burnt sienna, coming around in here, coming inside that area. It doesn't take over that area. It just goes into that area. That is that middle color. And then I blend that ever so slightly. And right in here, there, right here, down, stays inside that medium value. And I've already run out of color, so we're just going to blend right there. This gets down here. Well, it'd be nice if I actually had some color there, wouldn't it? Right in here, there, stay inside your medium area. Okay. Oh, I've got to sit back a minute. My back's killing me. All right. One more flower to do here. We're going to pick up our orange once again. We're going to come in here and here, come down the center, just like that. Right in here, gets a little bit of darkness there, and I've got a damp brush only, and I come down that light area to blend. I don't want to lose the light. Right in here. Right there. A damp brush, and I'm blending right on that line where the light and the medium join. Once again, right there and right there. Here as well, there and there, just a little bit. Right in here, right in here, and right in here. That's with the orange. I am going to pick up the burnt sienna. And on this same one, while it's damp, we're going to work right here. We're going to come up here, up in here, and right in here. I'm going to take that color out of my brush, and I just have a damp brush, and I'm going to blend right in here, right in here. I'm going to be aiming it. I don't want to blend it into the light. And I know that I'm saying that a lot, but every single time you do it, you have to think about it. Otherwise, you will have nothing but a blob. You'll have a blob. Blob. After you redo the pansy, oh my, Sharon. Oh my. Well, you know, you'll learn from it. It'll be good. This isn't my first pansy. Reinforcing that darkness right there. And I'm thinking this edge right there wants to be light. I don't know. I think it wants to be. It's really feeling it. I'm going back in here. And a little bit right here. Yes, that's softened all by itself. That color was just almost not there. And right in here. Looking at here. And we're going to come here and there. And then we're going to blend with a damp brush on the white. Blending, blending, blending right there. On the white. Right there. Into that. right there, blending. And I did that whole thing with the paper towel again. There, I think that's good. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, now I'm going to put the yellow in the center of this one and this one. This one. It's already in that one. I'm not so sure about what it might need to be done again up there because it's not wanting to stay. Okay, and I'm wanting some burnt sienna to come right in around here, around there, around there, and around there. Let's see what that does. Take that color out of my brush. Just give it a place to go right here to blend ever so slightly. Okay. It would be nice if I would quit painting the underneath side of my desk every time I come over here to get color. That would be really nifty. Right in here, I want that line needs to be more intense. That color needs to go there and here, and a little bit blended right there. Excellent. Right there. Get some darkness right here. A little bit right there. And boy, was that burnt sienna dark. Right there. There. And over here, I want to blend this a little bit. Blend it just a little bit. Just a little. Just a little. There we go. Let's see. There we go. I like it. See, and over here, this right here, there was supposed to have been that same negative space right here, but I thought it was a petal and I painted it like a goofball, and so there we are. Don't do that. It's not one. So let's bring some orange back here, and there we go. Now we'll say it's not. If I'm going to have a color there, I think I would prefer for it to be green. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Not in love with it. Okay, let's just make it be part of this petal. How about that? That works for me. That works for me. Just saying. All right. This one right here, I'm not really loving it, but I don't have to love all of it, you know? I just don't have to love it all. It's okay. So this is ready for the leaves. It's got leaves that go with the pansy and leaves that go with these little blossoms. Make sure you've got 1, 2, 3 petals here. This stem, let me show you this right here. That goes to the flower. Where are all the stems that go to these leaves. They're here too. And we might be able to see them. We should see them. We really need to see them. Because otherwise they're just hanging out in space. And you don't want them hanging out in space. So just keep that in mind. There's one there. There's going to be one here. And this one can come off of this one there. So there we are. And then once you paint your other leaves, you'll know how yellow, green you want these to be. And so you will have then a purple, yellow, orange, yellow, green color scheme, because these will all be very yellow green. You can even mix your own green. Like if you had sap green and you added your yellow into it, you're going to have a very different looking green. Now this might unless you think, well, now those stems don't go with it. They will by the time everything's said and done. It'll all be fine. Then when I use my sap green for the pansy leaves, it will look like a different color. It's not, well, it is. It's just you've made this more yellow. Just like that. So let's see what a sap green looks like next to this, or with it, or whatever. Totally different. And by the time you get done shading it then, because you've got to make things go backwards, and that requires a color that will go backwards. So when you're adding a little bit of blue to this, don't add terribly much, just want a little. Just like that. Then we'll add, I don't know, I want to add something. I don't know that I want it to be blue exactly. What happens if oh, that would be beautiful, Marilyn. Let's slip and put that color someplace we don't want it. This color is the green. And are you ready for it? Plus purple. And that's how this It's the same purple I've already used. You don't want to add a brand new thing. That's why I hesitated to add blue, because there's no blue in this. There's purple, which has blue in it, but we didn't put that blue in there. And let's just swipe across that a little bit and add just a little bit of our yellow green right here, just understated. And by the time we finish that, I think that'll look pretty. It's not particularly beautiful right at the moment, but as we've said before, everything you do, it goes through its awkward phase. You remember when you were a teenager, like your feet were too big, your teeth were too big, everything was just wrong. Well, your painting goes through that too. It's an adolescence phase. But it'll get over itself soon enough. It will. And we will be there to help it along. It's right there. And let's pick up a little bit of our purple view here. We're going to come right in here, just a little bit more right there. And a little bit here, up. Just, nothing like running out, is there? Right there. Just like that. And by the time we get everything all done, I think it'll just be a very harmonious situation right here. And I'm going to finish this on my own, though, because my back is starting to say hateful things to me. And my foot is saying, hey, stupid, what are you doing? So you can say that. I can't. Because that'll get me a copyright strike. I cannot do that. Paying particular attention. And, I've heard some very strange things and about things that have happened to other people. And you think, why in the world would it possibly matter? But you remember back on Periscope when I kept telling you guys, I kept getting these weird things over mine because it was saying I was doing something that might be problematic, but I could not find out what it was. I found out later it's because every time I mentioned a hymn, it would strike me because that might be copywritten. That music, the fact that people have been singing it for 50 years, they just felt the intense need to protect it. So, okay, fine, let's don't. But, I believe copyright is a very good thing, and it protects an artist. It protects, whoever created that particular thing, whatever it is. It protects them from people coming and just taking something and saying it's theirs. But one, I never said that was mine. But because I didn't, I don't know, say who wrote that particular song, it's like, okay, whatever. And so that's what all that was about. So strange things happen and we just move with it. That's the truth of the situation. Now, you guys, after this is all dry, don't do it now. After it's all dry, I would go back underneath these tiny little places here and here and here, all these little dark places, and add a little bit more of your dark in there. Like I said, don't do it now. It's not dry enough. I think maybe this one up here would be. I'll show you the difference it makes. It just will pick it up a little bit. Right in here. Right in here. The contrast that it creates. Light against light is just going to blend out. Light against dark is going to pop forward. If you want soft edges, like your soft, we'll work on soft edges at some point, but you don't want mud, and you don't want it to blend out into nothing. Let it dry and add it again. Yes. And if it looks like mud, Sharon, let it dry. Let it dry. Take a hair dryer to it. Whatever. I don't do that, but you can. I just don't have a hair dryer. I mean, I have one. It's packed. I think it's at Emily's. I'm not really sure where it is. Obviously I use it every day. But anyway, I don't ever use it. My hair's short and it just dries very quickly. So I don't dry my hair. So I don't even have the dumb thing. But you can do that. I just like the look that I get when I allow the water and the watercolor to complete their work on their own. But maybe not always. But you see over here how this kind of just melts one thing into another. It's because there's no contrast. And if you've got mud, you want to let it dry and then come back in. Did you lose your light or do you not have your dark? Sharon, that would be the question. Right here. Right there. Right there. Right here. There. See what a difference that makes? I'm going to put a little bit here. A little bit there. There. And there we go. See how it picked up off of this other one? You just have got to have a difference in there. So, okay, that being said, I'm going to stop. And I don't know, do I like one better than the other? Yes, but then one's not done. I love the darkness of this pansy. I wonder what the darkness of this pansy would have been like with the, I don't know. They're just two different, totally different paintings. They're just totally different. And that's okay. So, all right, I am working on what we're going to try to accomplish next time. I was thinking about a bird, and as long as it took me to do that bird, I thought, yeah, I don't want to break your brain, so I'm not gonna try that yet. But I do believe we're gonna try a butterfly and a zinnia, 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 zinnia. I don't know. Yes, it sure does. It does. And but we're going to try that, and we're going to paint the butterfly. Okay, are you ready for this? Segment by segment. You're not going to do just a whole, this is the butterfly's wing. Da, 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 da. Okay, you're done. No. This butterfly has segments, and you're going to paint segment by segment by segment. And the butterfly's body is much larger than I thought it was. And honestly, I almost think, man, Bud, your body is too big. But, that's why he's got to have these great big wings. Lift, I need lift. And so that's what it's going to have. All right. When you draw out this work for next time, all these little, I'm going to call them flowers. They are not little flowers. These are where the pollen's going to be, all in here. And then there's this is all very textured. Do not draw those in. Just put a little dot where you want the center of them. And then you'll brush them in. You don't draw them in. Okay. Make sure you get all your lines in your segments. Don't cheat on that. And we are going to learn how to mix some more colors. I would really seriously encourage you to make up a sample sheet, a swatch sheet, whatever you want to call this, and keep track of these, because it's going to matter if you want to make that color again. Okay, so here's a little clue for your pencils and papers to be busy about. Last session, I wanted to put yellow ochre in a place, and then a lot of you didn't have yellow ochre. And look right here. Yellow ochre equals cad yellow pale plus a little bit of cad red pale and a touch of turquoise. Turquoise? Are you kidding me? Nope. Turquoise. Okay. Cad yellow pale, cad red pale, and a touch of turquoise. And actually what their mix called for was, I don't know how you say it. C-Y-A-N. Is that S or K? Cayenne? Cyan? I don't know. It's turquoise. It's turquoise. That's what it is. That's what that color is. Turquoise. All right. So, cad yellow pale plus cad red pale plus turquoise. And that's a touch of turquoise, not a bunch. And then you just play back and forth between those colors until you get yellow ochre. And I thought, well, I guess this will work, but I'm not really in love with it. And then all of a sudden, wow, there it is. It's there. Yes, it is there. So, all right. So don't draw on all these little things. This is a dotted line because it is textured. You don't want a solid line there. And we'll go through this segment by segment. Not every segment is the same color. And then if I were inspired, and we want you to be inspired. If you have Pearl-Ex or Wink of Stella clear or iridescent medium of some sort, or those particular colors, this would be a beautiful opportunity to bring them to a class and use them, because a butterfly's wings have a little bit of iridescence. Now, this one, not as much as some others, because this butterfly is a painted lady. And he or she, even though there are male painted lady butterflies, they're not all female. It's like a ladybug. They're not as iridescent as some are, but they have their moments. And I love them. So, all right. And I'm going to tell you guys today that I had a hummingbird come to my feeders right here, section cupped to my window. I was totally thrilled. Yay. And I did have my 1 foot procedure done, and that is behind me. The other one will be done next Monday. Next Monday. Is that the Monday that we're going to do the butterfly? Yes, it is. And I'm still going to say I'm going to be there and I'm going to do it. If I just absolutely cannot, I'll let you know on Paintbrush Brown on Facebook. I think I think I can. I think I can. I don't know. We'll see. Also, for those who are prayer warriors, if you would please pray for me tomorrow as I go to a CT scan, because I have a lump in my chest that's about the size of the palm of my hand, and it is hard and it is painful. What that means to my life, I don't know. I'm really pretty much over all this. I want this to be done. Okay? Now, what I'm praying for, I'll deal with whatever, Lord, whatever you want to give me, I'll deal with it. But please remember, I said no more chemo. I don't want cancer again. I want no more chemo. So that's what's on my plate for tomorrow. I won't know anything tomorrow. It just happens tomorrow. So anyway, that's what I know. All right. So I'm going to say make today a happy day. Only you can. And your choices matter. Choose the best that God has to offer. I love you guys. Bye.